Hello, everybody. It's Jen Obermeier at Pro Organizer Studio, and thank you so much for joining me today. I could not be more excited because I'm doing an interview live with Layne Brookshire Haughee, and if you guys have been around a while, you might know that Layne and I have never done the interview style Facebook Live before, and we are incredibly pumped. I don't know how else to say it, but we just can't wait. All right, I already see Layne is on there, so I'm going to get her logged for. August and fall can be especially incredibly busy times for professional organizers because all the moms that are getting their kids back to school right now are like, hell yes, time to get stuff done. Hey, Layne, I'm so excited to see you.
Hey, it worked.
Can you hear me okay? Can you see me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, and you look great. Fabulous.
Thank you. So do you.
Thank you. Okay, so I just want to tell everybody who's watching about thank you guys so much for getting on here and watching us. I know we have old friends and new friends joining us today. If you are an old friend and we haven't seen you in a while, we're so glad that you're here. Thank you so much. You guys might realize that Layne and I have both had name changes in the last year. It used to be just Jen Kilbourne and Layne Brookshire, and now we have grown up a little bit. We both got married in the last year, but don't worry, it's the same old Layne and Jen. So we have our, I don't know what you would call our special brand of randomness and fun, talking about business, but also like so serious about what? About making changes that make sense, I guess, in our business and moving up to the next level. I think we both are in love with that side of it. So that's why we bonded so strongly when we first met. So what we're going to do today is we're just going to talk a little bit about Layne's story and how she and I met and what the changes have been in her business over the past almost 2 years since we first came together. And she's been involved with Pro Organizer Studio and with supporting the Inspired Organizer course. So she has a very special role for me and my team because she's like my counterparts. We love each other and are both really super involved in the Inspired Organizer program. So Layne, let you start talking for a second. I'm just so excited that you're here and that we haven't had any technical difficulties yet.
I know. It's true. Yes. Well, hi, everybody. I'm Layne. Thank you for the beautiful introduction. The feeling is totally mutual. I'm seeing some like personal friends popping on too that are jumping in to say hi because I guess they're getting a notification from following me. So my cousin Stevie is here. If anybody is here that is not interested in watching or learning about Pro Organizer Studio Inspired Organizer, then you might want to log out. Otherwise, we're going to go all crazy on organizing content about how to run your business. So I met Jen in 2016 when I started as a super fan, watching my internet best friend that she didn't know about yet, but she was definitely my best friend online. I was one of the first people in her masterclass. At the time it was called Masterclass and now it's the Inspired Organizer. And I think it's worth mentioning, like Jen said, that both of us have a huge passion for taking it to the next level and figuring out what the changes need to be. And that's pretty evident in the course and the fact that we've changed the name from Masterclass to Inspired Organizer. And we continue to, I mean, Jen is the one creating the content, but we're always open to, okay, this didn't work, let's try this. That's what's in the course is the tried and true, what did work, but our ongoing community of the people that have joined the Inspired Organizer course, that is where we go, what would you do in this situation where it's not black or white? We couldn't include this in the course. It's totally unique to what you do. We're always changing things based on the organizer and the organizer's personality, the client that you have, and the project. And I think that's what's cool about having a group of people that can have an ongoing conversation and trust built around the same way that we're all running our business and saying, okay, this worked for Jen and Layne because their personality is this. How can we make this work for me? I'm much more of an introvert. And then we have a ton of people that chime in and can contribute to those people if you don't 100% relate to what our personality is. So it's not a one size fits all thing at all. Just the business approach of it, would you say, is we're very universal on how we feel like we should run the business.
I totally agree. It's not a cookie cutter, like here, we're telling you exactly what to do. That would be like a franchise system. This is like something, it's like a framework that you customize to you and your personality and your time and abilities at this point in time. And also, like Layne said, it is very much an evolving thing, because a lot, like, there's always new technology that people use for their business. There's always new apps and new ways of doing things. So it's definitely like an ongoing conversation, like you said.
Yeah. And you don't have to be great at everything, because somebody in the group knows something and can point you in the right direction, or we have a list of services. And I just have found for this industry, there's so much more inviting conversation in what you've created with this community. And I don't feel afraid to ask questions, even as one of the leaders. Like,
Yeah.
there's stuff that I don't know. I asked a question the other day about photo organizing. I don't do a lot of photo organizing projects, and I'm not particularly on fire about those projects. So if I can find apps or tools or whatever that make that easier, or something that I can outsource my client to that person, then I want to do that. And we've created that through this community. I know organizers, and got people in Austin that are currently moving to other states. And I am excited to say I have a list of organizers that live there. Let me put you in connection with one of them. They run their business exactly the way I do. And, you know, that's cool to say. Like, I know at least that what they're doing in terms of how they're setting it up, what they're offering in their service, and what they're going to be like with client communication with you. And Kylie chimes in here too and says, I love how versatile the structure is. My favorite thing is the resource of the sisterhood. It is, yeah. And I don't think that can be said too much. I totally agree. And hey.
Hey. So Layne, so let's like rewind back, like throwback 2 years ago. So Layne was literally one of my first 3 students. Like, she was one of the first people who emailed me and said, oh my gosh, like, I am so happy I found you, because you're saying things that I was thinking and nobody else was saying. We just really hit it off right off the bat. But also, Layne is like a superstar person to work with and to coach, because she really took a lot of things that, you know, I suggested and immediately implemented it, and immediately saw results, and immediately was raving about it. So of course, like, she became not just one of my first students, but also someone who was immediately adding to that conversation with some of her past experience, because she had, you know, obviously different experience than I had. So Layne did not know at the time that she was going to be so involved with, like she said, leading the course and helping support the group and community, because of course we didn't know at that time it would grow to what it is now and how very special it is. But let's just talk let's just talk about you and your business, and a little bit about like where you were before, you know, not just before me, but before Pro Organizer Studio in general, and like what has happened for you in the last 2 years, because I just know from my point of view that your confidence has skyrocketed.
Oh yeah, yes, it has. And it's been very measurable, which I think is a hard thing to do when you're an entrepreneur and you feel constantly on the roller coaster of, I made a sale, great, awesome, I'm in business. And the next week is nobody's calling, oh my God, I have to get a part-time job. And it's been nice to have, like, you've saved the pictures of my old website. It's very humbling to look at what I was not able to create, but what was actually on the internet for customers and clients to find is embarrassing what used to be available, until I figured out, okay, outsource that to somebody who's really good at that, because we don't have to be good at all that stuff. And that's something I did not know. I didn't feel like I had a community of people that I could ask questions to and figure stuff out. Even though there are some other resources available for starting your own organizing business, I always felt like there are so many resources that I can't ask any questions until I've read through these 5,000 pages in the welcome packet.
Yeah.
Or I don't want to sound stupid, or I don't want to sound like I don't know what I'm doing. Also, is professional organizing even a thing? Do I feel confident saying that? There's been a lot of conversation around the word professional in front of it, because it's kind of implied. So what's our confidence in our delivery there? I would have some clients that were consistent. A very, very sweet lady in Austin employed me for almost 2 years, pretty full time, working through her house with her and her husband. They'd been in there for 43 years, and she believed in what I was doing, and she told her friends about me, and she knew that I had some tweaks that I needed to make in my business, probably long before I knew them as well, but she did it, and she had faith in me to keep going. I was chasing down the next client constantly. I had no idea what actually I had heard of package pricing, but I didn't, apparently it hadn't been explained to me well enough, because I could not wrap my head around, why would somebody do that? Why would somebody pay me up front? And how could I possibly quote how many sessions it's going to be? I lived in a world of I could give, and I guess this is true now, I could give people advice all day long on what they should do, which is kind of where coaching is valuable, because I can do that for other people. But it's so important to put that back into yourself and have coaching with somebody who's ahead of you there, so you know what to do next in your business. And a lot of it was just validation. And
Yeah.
like you said, when I found you, it was thoughts I was having, but I hadn't said them out loud because I didn't have the confidence to say them out loud, or to think that that was even a question that was worth answering, or if somebody could have an answer for me. If that makes any sense at all, I just had absolutely no self-confidence in even the questions that I had. So to receive validation without a competitive element there
Yeah.
was beyond valuable. And it's probably how so many people feel in the beginning stages of setting up their business. I was there, and I was there 6 years into running my business, still feeling like, I don't know if this is sustainable. I don't know what kind of growth I could have. I had never considered adding people to my team.
Right.
It was so many questions that now when people sign up to do coaching with me, it's so wonderful because people are so appreciative, and they've said, several girls have said in the first 15 minutes, this is the best money I've ever spent. And I'm going, wow, I wish I had something like this,
I,
which I do now with Jen, but I wish I had that from day one, because the questions that I'm answering, I know them so well now that I can deliver them quickly and efficiently to give whoever I'm coaching that confidence that they were lacking in an hour, that took me 6 years to even find a person that could help me find that confidence. Is that making sense there? I mean, it was a long time of me just scratching my head going, are people going to believe me? Can I do this long term? Am I going to be able to afford rent by myself doing this? Like basic things. Can I pay for my cell phone at this point? And now it's a full blown career and industry. For me, I'm growing my team in Austin. I'm starting to grow my second location in Santa Fe. And I'm thinking about bigger and better things because those little questions aren't holding me back now. There's so many things that's not written down for you outside of the course, or even some things that aren't in the course that you gain from the community. Give me another question to answer, because I feel like I could go on and on and on about that one, but I just did not have any. And maybe it's this perfection thing that we talk about, how our brains and our personalities, if you're interested in organizing, you get stuck in this perfection measure of everything, and therefore you never move forward with anything because you're paralyzed with, it has to be great before I can put it out there. I just felt like I had so many good ideas and nobody was validating whether they were good or dumb or what to move forward with, or
yeah.
I felt alone, and I didn't have coworkers, and I didn't know what to do on my admin day because I didn't know what to set up for the potential growth that I have now.
Yeah.
I just didn't know it existed. And I came very close several times to doing other jobs and taking other jobs or applying for something that I wasn't passionate about because I didn't feel like there was a resource that could help me succeed here. And that's not the part I'm good at, putting the course together. That's what you're good at. I'm good at executing what I paid for. Does that make sense?
True. That is so true. Like you and I are like the perfect combination, not just of organizing experience, but also our teaching styles, our just our life like approach. I mean, it's great. Let's talk a little bit about what all has happened for you now that you have had that validation, and now you are getting tons of validation like out in the world for really how fabulous you are. I mean, there are so many things that you have added to our group, not just because, I mean, there's so many things we can talk about, not just because you are getting a lot of recognition now from national publications and all this, but you have really shared with the Inspired Organizer group, and this is part of why Layne is so special in her support of our group, is she really talks about like the inner changes that she has experienced along the way with this. Like she shares some of the, you know, the mental hurdles, like Layne was just talking about, the mental hurdles that have held her back, the kinds of self-talk types of things that she has really worked on. And that's the thing that I noticed about Layne from day one, is like, this girl is serious about her self-improvement game. Like she invests in herself, she believes in herself. And like, honestly, like with me and Layne together, I felt like we, you know, came together, and I, you know, I can only take credit for so much, like helping point you in the right direction, telling you, yes, you can do this. But like you had all like that raw ability and material already there. So tell me, like, what it has been like for you. I guess this is my specific question. What it has been like for you now? You know, you have all this client experience. Now you have grown your business into you have hired a team. You've grown your business into 2 separate locations, and now you are getting a lot of like publicity, you know, and requests to, you know, collaborate on Instagram, like all that fun stuff. Like, what is that like for you now? Like, thinking back to what it was like 2 years ago when you felt like you just couldn't put the pieces together. Tell me.
Well, sometimes my husband would say I would have to leave my ego outside because it won't fit in our house, but it's usually stuff about, it's not ego that will carry me through. It's just ego that says, oh my God, I did it.
Yeah.
Like there were years of me not seeing returns on things. And now, you know, the publications that you were talking about it's just, I'm a very emotional person. Even talking about it brings me to tears now. Because what I feel like now is I can't wait to give it back to a community of people who didn't have that. That's honestly, like, I'm excited and proud of what I've created, but I can't wait to give this confidence to other people very quickly instead of them lacking it or dropping out or having their family or friends tell them it's not a real thing. You can't be a professional organizer. That's not an industry. Yes, it is. If anyone is telling you that, don't talk to your friends and family about it. Join our group and we will help you succeed here. Yeah, because I just, honestly, you gave me the platform to thrive in by giving me this community of friends, which is what I lacked for 6 years in this industry working alone. I had friends outside of that, but having coworkers, I guess, is the better word. But then it's also friends because, you know, some people that I'm friends with don't really love their job and they work a 9 to 5 in a cubicle where they hate their boss. They don't see natural light all day. And then we go to happy hour and they want to talk about anything except work. Well, I always want to talk about work. I always want to talk about where my business is going, where it's been, what struggles I'm working on. So now I have a community of women who want to talk about the same thing all the dang time. And on Facebook, it's nice because you don't have to answer in a text message right away. But I'm not chasing down. I'm very confidently delivering my prices, which now to organize is $100 an hour. I would never have said that with straight eye contact before. I was nervous when I was making 25 an hour. I was nervous to tell a client that I wanted to move up to 30 an hour. I was nervous when even at 45. And then I think I was at 50 an hour when I met you and you said to go to 100 an hour. And I just thought, oh, nobody's going to pay that. I'm never going to be able to, no way. And a lot of what you have taught me is why I need to charge a certain rate, because it doesn't go just into your time during the session. And we go into that a lot in Inspired Organizer, but you have business costs and you need to have marketing costs. And that's the business brain that I wanted to pay for to tap into what your brain is, because mine doesn't do that naturally. But the client interaction stuff I'm great at. And Jim was talking about mental struggles that you go through. For me, I have debilitating anxiety, and it has been so improved by feeling confident in my business, where I'm able to put that aside in certain ways because I have processes and systems set up for how I handle a new client, how I do a consult. I go in feeling totally prepared, and I know it's unique with every new client, but there's a safe set of questions and a process I can follow when I go in that helps me feel comfortable and helps me establish trust really quickly, which is what I'm great at. That's my superpower, is connecting with people. But if my anxiety is standing in the way of me connecting with that person, I'm not going to make that sale. I'm not going to make them feel like they could trust me in their home after meeting me for 30 minutes or 60 minutes. My website, Jen, you said one time that your website is your 24/7 employee. And I just thought, my God, that is one of the most powerful statements I've ever heard about running your own business. And my website at the time was the shittiest employee I'd ever had.
No, it was not.
Just
it was
so bad.
Well,
it was.
It's a huge transformation though, from like I mean, you admit that, like, you know, design and web stuff is not your thing, and she was about to pay a lot more money than what Pro Organizer Studio charges to a web designer who doesn't even know what a professional organizer is. You know, so she, you know, she took a leap of faith because, like I said, she was one of my first students. She was one of our first clients. You know, I worked personally with her on her branding, and I said, trust me on this. And she did. And Layne, I have to say that maybe trusting is like another one of your superpowers, because, you know, the fact that you let me be a part of your business journey, you know, so soon after us meeting was, you know, that's been huge for me too. So,
well, and
I
it's
appreciate that.
for you too, is you were saying such spot on stuff in the first Facebook Lives that were free, the material before it became Inspired Organizer, the free course, all of it was so, oh my God, she's inside my brain, what I'm going through. She gets exactly the process and systems that I don't have that need to be set up. She's already saying them, and I haven't even told her what I need yet. So it was very easy. And I think a lot of the girls in the group feel that way too. It's easy to trust the web team or your design team with this or any of the services that you offer because you already get our industry. And that's something that when you're not good at copy editing or writing website wording, making it succinct and easy to see, it's really hard to explain that to a web designer without them writing 4 paragraphs of what we can do for you. You know, the fact that you already got that,
Yeah.
and you already knew that it should be a very clear website because we're selling organizing, you know, stuff like that. I don't feel scared or insecure about telling anyone what I do now. Or somebody would go, people pay for that? It would make me feel small or feel like, let's change the subject, or I don't want to talk about this anymore. I don't want to go to networking events because when people ask me, I feel anxious. Now, if somebody doesn't get it, I think it's definitely a real thing. And in my head, I'm going, and you're not my, because my ideal client goes, oh my God, that's a thing. I've been looking for you. And I can focus on them. You know what I mean? Like it's now.
Yes.
Because you can tell who likes, who doesn't at what you're doing. Are you there?
Yes. Layne, yes. Can you still hear me? Okay. Bear with us, guys. It's just a little bad connection, but I think she is still on audio. Okay. I'll just keep talking. Can you still hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. So Layne, tell us a little bit more about your move. You moved to Santa Fe, but you're still running a business in Austin. Like, can you imagine that you would have been doing that 2 years ago?
I wouldn't have. I never would have if I didn't find this resource. Like I would never have felt bold enough or brave enough. My business in Austin would not have had the growth, excuse me, that it had in the last 2 years. I would have just been trucking along, selling individual sessions, chasing down the next client, and moving to Santa Fe. I would never have entertained the idea of keeping an Austin location because how would I do that? I wasn't even busy enough for just me at the time. And the confidence to launch a second location while keeping the Austin one came completely from the course. The idea of working with subcontractors to build my team completely from this community. And continued education within, like being able to talk through the kinks of, okay, here's this course about how to build a team. It's great to read it, but to talk to other people that are doing it and what's your interview process and what about if they click, you know, there's just so much that I've learned through this. I never would have launched a second location and I never would have thought Austin was worth keeping. Now it breaks my heart to think, what if I didn't continue doing that? Because Austin was my baby and Austin is where I came in and didn't do well, but then did do well and saw the growth and saw like, hey, this is a great market for me. And it wasn't that the market was lacking. It was, I didn't know how to reach my ideal client. I didn't know how to price my services. I didn't, because this isn't for everybody. It's luxury. You're asking somebody else to go through your stuff, through your life, through the stuff that you don't even want to go through. So it doesn't need to be at a rate for, you know, just everybody. It's a particular client we're looking for. And I didn't know that. I didn't realize that once I started wrapping my head around it and really saturating myself in who do I want to work with and who is my ideal client. Now it's like, how did I not know this? It's as easy as, you know, it feels second nature to me now. But I didn't know that coming in at all.
Right. And obviously Austin is a huge city. We don't all have that opportunity, but, you know, just raising your prices and, you know, leveling up your game. I mean, you know, I know you don't get to share like the specifics, but now you've had the celebrity clients and you've had the billionaire clients. I mean, it's some things that like you never would have experienced before until you put you put yourself on that level, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm so proud of that.
And
I'm proud of that.
Now you get to do a lot more of the, oh, I'm sorry, what?
I said, I'm proud of that for you. Can you still hear
Oh
me?
yeah, it's awesome. I feel proud of it because it was a matter of how I was marketing my business and who I was looking for, like you said. But now I'm actually getting to do the jobs that I want to do organizing for instead of some of the ones that are less appealing to me, because there's all types of projects with organizing. There's a beautiful closet, a beautiful office, a beautiful kitchen entryway, or there's a garage, a 4-car garage that's been abandoned for 30 years. And
Yeah.
that's in the family. I mean, there's so many needs within this industry. So to figure out what your niche is, or what it is you want to be doing, that was the best thing for me, because I was doing so many jobs that were actually sucking the life out of me, and they were taking all of my emotional energy each day. So that's a huge thing that I've learned within the group too, is learning what do I have to give and what do I need to maintain for my own family at night that I can't give to my clients during the day, and what does that look like in terms of choosing my clients and building my team. What is my team client? Then I can serve a bigger community, because we have a girl who loves working with fill in the blank. If you wanted this kind of project, Layne is perfect for you. That allows me to work with a lot of different clients, versus saying yes to every client and not necessarily having my heart in every project, which I think totally robs the client and the organizer. And so it's way better to set it up where you're giving what you want to give to the type of client that you give best to, and then the expert in this field.
Yeah.
Niche, I guess is the better word.
Yes. Okay. I hope you still have a strong signal. I will let me go ahead and ask you like our last questions. Does it still okay for you? Can you hear me okay? We'll see if she can hear me.
I thought my hotspot.
Okay, Layne, I'll go ahead and ask the question and I'll see if you can answer it. What would you give as your advice? Now, you are, as I said at the beginning, you are very much a part of supporting this course. So Layne does separate coaching. If you're not a part of our community, like you can do that with her through Pro Organizer Studio. Sorry. But also, Layne is really a huge resource for people who are new to their organizing business when they join Inspired Organizer. However, Layne joins me in my course and became a part of my team after she had been experienced as an organizer for a while. So Layne, would you give a little bit of advice or tips, both for newbies who are thinking about joining and maybe for somebody who's already been in business for a while and they're like, do I really need this? Or what additional things?
Oh yeah, yes. I feel like I basically started completely over. Yes, I had a leg up on anybody who hasn't worked with clients before, because I had a lot of types of personalities under my belt. But I basically went in and started my business from scratch. And anything that I thought I knew about organizing or working with clients or running a business, I just completely donated to someone else who could possibly use that information. And I started all over.
That was
From all of it, really. And I also will say, like, if you're nervous about, because you haven't worked with clients and you're nervous to put your prices at what we suggest that you do them in the course, let all of that fear go away and lean on the group and lean on us, because you do have access to us in the class, because we have that private Facebook group. If you want to organize, you will find a way to make it work with clients. Your heart is already drawn towards this industry and working with people, and that part you will learn. And maybe you haven't worked with clients, but you've been a part of functioning society since you could talk and since you could communicate with other human beings in pre-K, whatever, all the way up. All of that is practice for working with clients. So don't let that stand in the way of you starting, because it's just a person who needs help from another person who's good at organizing. It's just relationships in someone's home. I always say organizing is not an emergency, and I say that more for the organizer than the client. So that if the client calls last minute and you feel panicked to get over there quickly because now is when they need you, they're still going to need you on Monday, and they're going to need you in your best form instead of stressed out because you're trying to make it work with plans you already had going on over the weekend. So organizing is not an emergency for the organizer, which means you can handle this. You can organize whatever the space is. It's not rocket science. It's just something that this person's brain doesn't necessarily work great at. So And if
True.
you are nervous about working with the client, there's nothing wrong with you marketing your service as I like to do all the work for you, and I'll come and tell you where everything is. You don't have to be great at working with the client. You do have to be great at forming the relationships, building trust, but that's what we can tell you. Like, I'm apparently very magical at client communication. I've learned that too. Like, I know how to ask hard questions in a beautiful, soft way that you can get the client to communicate and not feel like you were pressuring them for something. We're good at that. And we have all of that in our community and in the course. If you think you've already been running your business and you don't think this is helpful for you, then why are you watching this call? Let me tell you, there's something about the way you're currently running your business. There's something lacking, or you wouldn't have looked into this. So I would encourage you to get really clear on what it is that is lacking, and then shoot me an email at Layne@proorganizerstudio.com and say, these are the questions I have. Would the course be helpful for this, this, and this? And I'll do my best to let you know, yes, it will help no matter what your question is, but I can get really specific with how I think it could help you based on whatever your questions are. So if there's any doubt, just shoot me that email. I will take the time to convince you that it doesn't matter where you are in your business. There's just a lot that has been streamlined, like a lot of questions on how do we get supplies for our clients? How does that work? What's the process there? Well, you can try it in all the ways that come to mind to you first, and you can have all the headaches that are going to come with that, and all of the experiments basically of this way worked a little, but there was this that I didn't like about it. Oh, I lost money on this because a client reimbursed me through a credit card. There's so many details that we already can just give you and say, this is the way we've done it, and pulled from multiple brains of people working with clients, and here's what we've perfected. The community alone, I mean, I'll always say that that's such a big deal, but if you're already doing it and you don't think the course would be helpful to your current business, having the community is the incredible value. Things like maybe you already have your business going and there's a lot of things that are smooth. Well, Facebook ads change all the time, and Jen of that stuff, she's got her finger on the pulse of all of the technology changes that affect our business, and she's regularly doing a new Facebook Live or a tutorial or a mini course, or depending on what the content is, she wants to continue educating our current community. It doesn't always come at an extra cost. It depends on if it's something that's included in our course. 99% of the time, it's not an additional cost. She did a separate Facebook campaign class about how to do Facebook ads. But that algorithm is changing again soon. So you're not getting like here's the content one time, and if it changes, well, you're out of luck. That's absolutely not the approach of this course at all. It's going to be continually updated, continually supported. When we learn new things, we teach it to the members in the grouping. You're getting a community, not just people that you're starting the course with one time. And we have people that have been in it since the beginning, and new people. And since she's closed the enrollment to just be open a couple of times a year, I think that's going to be a great format for the new girls to start at the same time together. And then everyone else in the group, when I said that what I want to do the most is share my knowledge and share to the new girls what I didn't have, everyone else in the group who has felt that same way is so excited and so happy to chime in and answer questions to the new girls. We're all contributing because we all felt that, like, I'm drowning. I just need somebody to help me. I need somebody to give me how they did it so that I have some sort of example of how to move forward instead of starting from scratch. Yeah. You're not having to reinvent the wheel here. Again, if you have a business and you don't think this is helpful, please send me an email to Layne@proorganizerstudio.com and let's talk, because it is worth my time and yours to really go over it. Yeah.
So one thing I like to say about our class that is maybe slightly different than what is out there is we're not giving you like a franchise playbook, like here's what you have to say, here's how you have to dress. Like, we're not telling you how to organize. Like, and this class is not about a particular organizing style or niche. So what I say is you bring to me, or bring to us, like your passion and your conviction that you want to do this, and we'll help you figure out the right niche and help you plug it into a system that is going to make that work. And I really go through in the course and show you exactly how to do that. Like, we break it down to the numbers and where do you live. Like, we're going to get really specific about that, but it's not, like I said, it's not a cookie cutter, like organizing style. There's a lot of different types of philosophies of the people who are in our course. So it is a very diverse group of people. Layne, can you talk a little bit about how you feel about our accountability partner program that we started this year?
I love it. I love it. Okay, so we do sort of an application process to learn about what your personality is, where you are in your business,
this is
and what you want your goals to be.
After you join, then we do like a survey type of thing.
Yeah, because yes, you're getting a community, but it is growing. I mean, it was our smaller group when we had the large free Facebook group, which was getting up to 2,000. And then, so we had our smaller group, but that's becoming more popular too. So within that, a way to feel like you can have somebody to go through the course with, or just have somebody to talk a little bit more intimately with. And I say that very carefully because I feel like every conversation in the group is already very intimate. It's whatever you put into participating. And a lot of people, there are some very regulars who participate all the time. Sometimes people are hot and heavy in the beginning when they first joined the course. Sometimes people get pregnant and have a baby and have to step back for a little bit, but it's always there and it's searchable and the same topics are there. And however much you do or do not want to be a part of, it works and it's magical. So to have an accountability partner is somebody that I'm matched up with Danielle, who offers services in the group as well. So it's really perfect because we have a similar leadership role, but we're also growing our businesses in the same direction, but we live in different parts of the country. So there's absolutely no competition around that. And we share a lot of the same ideas, and we can measure our success with one another on a little bit more of an intimate level. Well, a lot more, because we have track what we're working on, and then we check in with each other. How has this been going for you? And sometimes, yes, Lori just asked if she'll be able to watch this later. Yes, the replay will still be in the group if you can't continue joining live. It's nice to be able to check in and say, hey, how's this project going for you? And sometimes Danielle has to say, oh, that has to be on the back burner because this and this and this just recently happened, and I need your advice right now on how to handle this. Sometimes it's a faster way to get immediate feedback on something, especially if it's a client thing that's happening, in real time and you don't have time to wait for Facebook responses. But Danielle has very quickly become Jen's my business best friend and Danielle's my business best friend for different reasons, because we both are really into organizing with clients and building teams. And so there's just so much that we can share. She's starting to offer design services, and we talked this morning. We have our call every Monday because we both do our admin days on Monday. And it helps us set up what our tone for the week is going to be, what our goals are for the week. And it has given me a lot to add to my to-do list in terms of what to create, because I know she's going to check in with me. And I love that's the beauty and accountability. And if we're not buying into that, then why are we asking our clients to? That's basically, we're professional accountability partners for our clients to work on the crap in their house, or work through the space that you don't want to, or don't have the energy, or whatever your reason. We are asking our clients if we can be their accountability partner. So it's super important for us to do that in our businesses as well. And just to have a second brain on your exact business topic. You'll be surprised at what they will throw in that you never thought of.
Yeah, it's really amazing. I think that was something that I threw out there at the beginning of the year. Like, does anybody want to be like matched up like by us, as accountability partners? And I thought people would be like, no, I'm too busy, or like life is already crazy. And we had like everybody raise their hand. So now we are doing
it's awesome.
One quarter. So once we match you up, you don't have to be like long-term partners, but you can stay together for that quarter, like with the specific things that you're working on right then, and then you can be rematched up with somebody else later. So suffice it to say, all the girls who are already in the group are really excited about the next group that's joining, because they don't know if their next BFF accountability person who's their business soulmate is about to join the group too. So they are all ready to welcome you and eager to learn about what you guys bring in.
And I think it's super worth mentioning that a couple of my subcontractors are girls that I found in the group. And I'm, the growth that has happened through that has been really cool, because I totally didn't see that coming. If there's somebody else in your area that's already in the course, we do not entertain a competitive any sort of competitive energy. We're all about collaboration in the group. And if there's somebody else that's going to be in your area that's in the group, we encourage you to get together and work as a team. So whether that's subcontracting for each other's businesses, we've had a couple of people in the group totally join forces, and they had two separate organizing companies, and now they have a new name and a new business, and they're both running that company, and they met through the group, and it's been
Incredible. Yeah.
incredible what the amount of sales they're able to make a month, and just things that running your business by yourself with no guidebook feels impossible. And you've created that
Right.
for whatever level you want to take your business. If you want to stay side hustle, if you want to go full time, if you want to find a business partner, if you want to be a stay-at-home mom, but have subcontractors doing all of this for you. Like we have several girls in the group who've decided just to totally step back from working with clients because they've already done that. And now they're adding subcontractors while they're having kids. It's amazing.
It is incredible. It is so incredible. Oh my God. We have so much, like Layne and I could sit here and answer questions the rest of the night because we, you can probably tell, are obsessed with this stuff. We're super passionate about this group and what it means to us personally to have these girls that like are like us. Like they're not just like us because they like to organize, but they're like us like in how they handle everyday mom life, marriage life. You know, like Layne and I, another cool thing about us that complements each other is, you know, she has been full-time in her business now for like 7 years. Layne, you know, she doesn't have kids yet. She doesn't have that, you know, that angle on it yet, but she has been full-time in it for longer than I have. I have done it as a full-time business. I've done it as a side business. I do have young kids. You know, I've been the divorced single mom, like trying to build a business that is going to really work for my schedule. So you really get, and not just the two of us, but even beyond that in our group, you really get the advantage of lots of different perspectives. And I think that's so special. And Layne was talking about doing this business without a guidebook. And we do realize that there are other resources out there and there are other guidebooks available out there. I really think we've created something that is not like anything else that is available for so many reasons. But, you know, it's not just the package pricing business model, although that really is like kind of the backbone of it. There's just so much more that goes into it. And I really think we are on the leading edge of like where the professional organizing industry is going. So I'm super proud of that. I also want to take this chance to tell you guys that if you are really interested in digging into more, go ahead. Sorry, Layne.
Oh, I was just going to say to your course and to your level, your work ethic in general, it's not like any other online courses that I've bought that give you like an outline, but they don't really fill in the blanks. Like Jen is so detail oriented, maybe too detail oriented in some areas of her life, but it's really, really, really beneficial to all of us in this area of her life. She will hold your hand from A to Z and she will spell it out. And if it's not in the course and you have a question, she will add it to the course. If enough people are asking that, she will continue to build the course. There's really not any other than like you need to get your own business license and you need to figure out your numbers on your real specific numbers because they're different by states. Jen will pretty much do everything she can to give you as much information as possible on any question she asks. So you're not buying a course and then not having access to her, or buying a course and not being able to ask a specific question to your needs. All of that is available. And I think that's incredibly rare with courses available online right now, which just makes it more and more valuable.
Thank you for saying that, Layne. So for you guys who want more, first of all, if you want more of me and Layne together, and if you want more details about seriously going module by module, what is in this class, Layne and I did a Q&A group call back in the spring that is still available, and all the information that in it is still current. All the information that is in it is still current. I will post the link for that here just so you guys have that. It is also available when you opt in at inspiredorganizer.com. There's a big button in the footer of every page that says learn more about our program, and it will take you to a YouTube link. It is 3 hours long. It was a long like webinar basically that takes you through, I mean, really what is the content of this course. So I know some of you guys have just met me maybe recently or just meeting Layne today. You want more details about like what the meat of this program is. We have all that on its own website at inspiredorganizer.com. There is an FAQ and there are lots of reviews. Cheryl asked a question a little while ago. She said, is there somewhere that explains the cost of the program and maybe when the next enrollment is after this August? Cheryl, yes, the cost of the program is outlined in the FAQ on inspiredorganizer.com. And then our next enrollment will be either at the very end of this year or possibly even at the beginning of January. Haven't decided, or we have not set that yet. So we'll go ahead and end this today. Layne, is there anything else you just want to share? I mean, again, Layne and I, like, we do a lot of videos because we love this and we love talking, and there's always new questions and we figure out different ways to dive in. So once you join, there's the course content, and then there's like lots of additional support videos. I mean, we will overwhelm you in a good way with lots of, like Layne said, maybe too much detail, but lots of guidance and lots of inspiration and personal. We want to get to know you. We want to get to know your business. Super serious about that. Like our life, like my life is my Facebook notifications pretty much most of the time, unless I'm trying to like break away from social media for a weekend. But we're super involved in this, and we want people to get a lot of value from it and to succeed. So Layne, is there anything else you want to share? I will tell people one more thing after you share your parting words. Thank you so much for being on here today, by the way.
Oh, absolutely. You know, same as you, I'm obsessed with this too. It's fun. It's like not even a question if I want to be a part of it. Yes, every time I want to be a part of it. Plus it's fun. And if you like our personalities, this is what you get in the group. So people, it is. I mean, people have signed up because they're drawn to this. It's why I signed up with you. I was so drawn to your approach on this, just making it way less stuffy in general. I think it's important to note that we're all pretty into, like you were talking about, getting to know yourself, self-awareness, growing, however that feels to you spiritually, mindfully, what's the best way to manage time. We have a lot of resources of books that we've all just read that we're like, hey, this is a really good read that helped me with time management. I just got my No BS time management book in the mail. I wish it was on audiobook.
Yeah,
but I'm gonna make the time to read it. So there's a lot of self-growth. We talk a lot about boundaries. We talk a lot about our personality types and how that can be good, how you can use that as a strength in your organizing sessions. There was something else I was going to say about, here's a big one. I think a lot of people join the course and feel overwhelmed that they need to be through the course quickly enough or really fast so that they can join in on those conversations. Jen created really organized module 1. You can first look through the questions and answers that are already there, but you can apply your questions.
Say that it cut out really quickly. You said Jen created really organized. I think you're going to say threads.
Yes, threads in the Facebook group, so that if you have a question specific to that module, first you can read through what the question and answers already are that have been posted from previous students, but you can also post your question to that thread so that it stays organized, and then it's totally at your own pace. So if you want to plow through it, great, but my recommendation as a student of it is to take your time and really fill out every page. There's a playbook and a workbook that you can get with the course. It doesn't do you any services to speed through that stuff because it's helping you create what your business plan is, what your ideas are, and you're going to feel compelled to speed through it because maybe you have a client on Wednesday and you want to get to pricing, so you skip ahead several modules, and that's okay, but please take the time to go back and really do it all from day one. Try to work it into your schedule where maybe you spend 2 hours a week doing it or whatever. If you do have a client on Wednesday and you need the material that's in module 8, but you're not there yet, we will jump in and give you the information that you need without you having to dive into the course to find it yourself and wasting time looking for it out of order. We will help you with that, but we still encourage you, please still go and read the entire module. Please go back to the beginning and do it in order because it's doing you a great service to do it in that order. And Jen spent hours and hours and hours and hours getting it that way. It's designed to help you succeed.
Yeah. I think,
and there's lots of, I don't even think you talked about, there's tons of video tutorials.
Oh yeah.
in the course too, that is really valuable because she updates them if the algorithm changes. So again, you're not behind on watching tutorials that are out of date.
Right, right. With what Layne said a second ago, like we share a lot about not a lot of random personal conversation, but for example, we all like a lot of the same types of books or podcasts or resources, and we do just have this like certain vibe where, you know, I know not everyone is as involved in the group as other people, but for the people who are, it's almost like this is not just a course and it's not just a group, it's kind of a lifestyle, right? Like we know where we want to be.
It is.
And we have similarities, not just in, you know, the what our dreams are and what our businesses are, but even like in our like spouse relationships. We're like, oh my gosh, can you imagine what it must be like to be married to a professional organizer? And we kind of laugh about that. So anyway, we laugh a lot. So if that is like your thing, I think you know, I just really feel like it's better to go through life with other people who are on the same page as you, because it is really, really lonely to try to, like Layne was saying, try to explain your business to a stranger or even to your mom when you barely understand what it is. I think that, you know, this group continues to inspire me in what they accomplish and what they do. And in the ways that they tweak it and make it flexible to fit their life. Like that's what I think is amazing about this career and having your own business is it can be a part-time thing now, it can be a full-time thing in the future, and then it can go back to being a part-time thing. Like I see people being creative with their time, and it's absolutely amazing. So yeah, I mean, you know, I think when you find your people, you just know, right?
You do,
So, Layne,
yes. And at that time, it was like 3 people.
I know. Yeah, like creating that separate group for the masterclass girls was the smartest thing. Like we didn't have that at first.
Yeah.
And then once we had like 20, we're like, we have enough for our own group. So great.
If there's something you don't understand, you can, or you understand those people. I can talk something to death before I understand it now. If you're like that, we can do that in the group and we can say on this page, on this da-da-da-da, whereas we couldn't do that in the free group because not everybody was enrolled in the course and we didn't want to give away course material to those who didn't invest in it and then themselves. We're nuts about it. We could keep going and going, but join the course. We love it.
I know. All right, y'all. So thank you so much for being here today. As you know, the Inspired Organizer program just reopened today for our fall enrollment period. So that is live now. Once you log in at inspiredorganizer.com or once you opt in, you will be able to navigate to the application page. Layne will be personally replying to your applications this round. She's really excited to meet you guys and send you all the information you need to get started. So again, your deadline for this round is August 31st. So we have about 2 weeks. So over this week and next week, not just this chat with Layne, but I will have several other of our community members on doing some special guest interviews that are going to be really, really fun because they all have really unique business situations, which is part of what Layne and I were talking about. Like this works for a lot of different types of people. So if you want all the details on those chats as they are happening and to get reminders about those chats before they happen, be on our interest list. That's the inspiredorganizer.com list. And we'll send you extra info about that. So if you joined us today and you were hesitant, as you know, Layne did invite you to personally email her. It's Layne@proorganizerstudio.com. You can also email me at hello@proorganizerstudio.com. Just so you know, on the last day of enrollment, which is August 31st, Layne and I will be back on here taking any last minute Q&A. But hey, if you already know you want to do it, we can't wait to hear from you. We're ready for you now. So, all right. Thank you again, Layne, and thank you to everybody else for being here. We saw lots of familiar faces and lots of new faces, which is super exciting. Be in touch with us. We cannot wait to hear more about you and your business.
Thank you so much, Jen, for having me. I'm going to start sending the approvals to the first round of applications. If you do send one in, give me about 24 hours, but I will get back to you within 24 hours of when you sent your application because I know you're eager to get started. Thanks for spending your afternoon with us, and we'll see you in the course.
Bye, everybody. Thank you, Layne.